Now at 6:30, severe weather is making its way across the region. The latest on these storms and what we can expect heading into tonight.
Plus,
we need everything we can get in the classroom.
Public schools face increasing threats to their funding, but teachers and parents aren't giving up without a fight. The effort to keep funding ahead of next school year.
And in sports, Ohio baseball continues their struggles as they lose their 6th straight series to VMI. Newswatch starts right now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Morgan Anderson.
And I'm Joshua Herner.
The National Weather Service declared a severe thunderstorm watch until 11 p.m. for Athens County, but other counties in the region are bracing for storms.
So far, 1,600 people lost power, mainly in Lawrence County. For more, we'll hand it over to forecaster Calvin Stebbins. Calvin, what are we looking at tonight?
Yeah, guys, so most of tonight we're going to see some cells move in from the west, and they're going to move their way towards us. We're going to be experiencing some 60-mile-per-hour winds, hail, and an isolated tornado or two. If we take a look at our radar, as of right now, there are a bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings out just to our south. The main concern right now is this one over by Ironton. This one is showing a tornado possible tag on it, so there is a little bit of rotation within the cell. Not saying that there's a tornado on the ground, but there is rotation within the cell, so we're keeping a nice eye on that. If we take a look at our surrounding areas, though, south of I-70, 72 in Zanesville, 65 in Lancaster and through the Ohio River Valley, 81 in Huntington, and 64 in Parkersburg. Currently in Athens, it is 64 degrees, and we're seeing some light rain. That rain will be sticking around through most of tonight, as we do have a 40% chance of showers and an overnight low of 46. Heading into tomorrow, that rain will be sticking around for most of the morning, but as the day continues, we'll see a high of 55, and stay tuned to see my full weather forecast.
Thanks, Calvin. Athens City officials answered questions about a proposed income tax increase in a second press conference. The issue would raise the income tax by 0.3%, increasing it from 1.95% to 2.25%. Officials say they need to increase the tax to keep up with the rising cost of inflation. Without it, they say the city will go into a deficit. Residents say they want to know more about how the city will save money besides the tax.
What is the city going to do to tighten its belt? Where, other than just getting rid of policemen and firemen by attrition, where are you going to tighten your belts if we're going to tighten our belts and give more money to you?
So I'm against the tax. I can't vote for the tax. Thank you.
The League of Women Voters held a town hall meeting earlier today at the Athens Community Center for voters to ask questions to city officials about the increase. Early voting is underway, and voters can head to the polls to cast their ballot on the issue. Ohio's proposed budget bill excludes a crucial formula used to calculate school funding. Teachers and parents in Jackson County are protesting to get it back.
Newswatch reporter Allison Patton joins us live with details on the event. Allison?
Josh and Morgan, over 100 people showed up Saturday to protest for the fair school funding formula, which gives schools money based on how much the district can put in through property taxes or levies, and the state covers what's left. But the Ohio House left that part out this year. The House proposes funding should be a set amount per kid. The increase comes to about $50 per student over the next 2 years. The fair school funding plan would have given Jackson City schools about $4 million more than the proposed budget. Now, teachers and parents are worried about what the district has to do to stay in the budget.
We have no choice as a district but to cut jobs, cut positions, and do that, because if we don't, we're not going to be able to operate.
School districts are already underfunded through the formula because it uses old data, forcing the district to pay more than the state. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Allison Patton, live in studio.
Thanks, Allison. Youngstown State University's faculty union is asking voters to repeal Senate Bill 1. The bill prohibits most mandatory diversity, equity, inclusion programs in Ohio's public universities. It also bans faculty unions from striking. DeWine signed the bill into law back in March, and it will take effect in June. YSU union members are sending out petitions, hoping to get 1,000 signatures. They say they plan to bring the petition to a protest outside Cleveland Thursday, where Senate Bill 1 sponsor will be speaking. They hope to get the petition on the ballot in November, which would require they get around 250,000 signatures by early July. While Senate Bill 1 only specifies public universities, new provisions in the state budget may extend its rules to private colleges in Ohio. The bill allocates more than $100 million across 2 fiscal years for the governor's Merit Scholarship Program, which gives money to students who graduate in the top 5% of their class if they go to a college in state. The latest version of the budget requires nonprofit, independent universities and colleges to admit students in the top 10% of their class and abide by SB 1's regulations. Officials say the budget will head to the Senate floor by mid-June. DeWine must sign it by June 30th. WOUB has followed the increasing funding issues in Southeast Ohio, and in a Newswatch special report, we're looking at what a second Trump administration means for our region,
while also looking at the future for Ohio schools at the state and local levels. Take a look.
The loss of any federal funding for any area of the state is going to be devastating.
President Donald Trump begins to dismantle the Department of Education, marking the end to a key resource for educators,
leaving teachers, parents, and students to wonder, what is next?
In times like this, we do have to come together, think about what's best for students.
This story and more on a Newswatch special report, Southeast Ohio under a second Trump presidency.
The Newswatch special report will air Monday at 6:30 right here on WOUB. You will also be able to stream and rewatch the special report on our YouTube channel.
A longer, in-depth podcast version from WOUB Digital will also come out Friday wherever you get your podcasts.
Ohio University may have put its official Black Alumni Weekend on hold, but that did not stop alumni from gathering this weekend. One of the many events hosted by the African Students Union was African Heroes Night. Newswatch reporter Charlie Ehlenfeld was there and has more on what makes this annual event so special.
There's one moment where we all come together and have like authentic African food.
Reunited by love of culture and each other.
So I came early today because I've been craving such food. There's so many different foods from different parts of Africa.
African Heroes Night honors African heroes and inducts the incoming leadership class for the African Student Union at Ohio University. But there's much more to the occasion than passing the torch.
People feel that this is family, so no matter where they are, I can tell you people drove all the way from Kentucky, people drove all the way from Michigan, people drove all the way from the DMV, that's DC, Virginia, and Maryland, all the way for this, just one night.
Music, dance, and fashion take center stage. Drum performances and even a traditional wedding ceremony create a space to celebrate African culture.
Year to year, I join this group, to work, to perform, to be a part of the preparation and all of that. So week after week, it's nice for me to be around to dedicate myself to support the African Students Union.
Faculty and students were also recognized for their contributions at Ohio University.
It means a lot to me. It means a lot to me how they all love me, and I hope I'm doing something right. Yeah, I think it's wonderful to see all those who love me and appreciate what I do for them.
Celebrating the past to build a better future. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Charlie Ehlenfeld in Athens.
The Federal Aviation Administration announced the tour company behind the deadly helicopter crash in New York City is shutting down immediately. The crash killed all 6 people on board, including a family visiting from Spain. The FAA will review New York Helicopter Tour's license and safety record and will continue to support the National Transportation of Safety Administration's investigation of what happened. New York Helicopter Tours was previously involved in 2 safety incidents investigated by federal authorities.
A meeting between President Donald Trump and one of his administration's closest allies put immigration policy in focus and addressed the legal fight around a Maryland man mistakenly deported to El Salvador's most notorious mega prison.
Karen Kafa is at the White House with more.
El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele was already seen as one of the Trump administration's closest foreign partners because his collaboration is so crucial to President Trump's mass deportation strategy. And a big question for the two leaders as they met at the White House on Monday surrounded a Maryland man mistakenly deported to El Salvador, whose wife identified him in a photo from an El Salvador mega prison.
I'm really happy to be here, honored, and eager to help.
Bukele is very popular back home for the moves he's made to reduce crime in El Salvador, but he's also raised objections among human rights organizations for his approach, including suspending civil liberties to go after gangs. The country's notorious terrorism confinement center, CCOT, now houses hundreds of migrants who were ousted by the U.S., who the Trump administration claims, without providing evidence, are gang members or violent criminals, making El Salvador a key partner in the Trump administration's mass deportation strategy.
We appreciate working with you because you want to stop crime, and so do we. And it's very, very effective.
Reporters pressed the two leaders and Trump administration officials for answers about Kilmer Armando Abrego Garcia, the Maryland father who was mistakenly deported to the CCOT prison because of an administrative error. The Supreme Court said last week the Trump administration needs to facilitate his return to the U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi said if El Salvador decides to release him, the U.S. would send a plane. But Bukele said he doesn't plan to.
Of course, I'm not going to do it. It's like, the question is preposterous. How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
And the Trump administration has claimed Abrego Garcia is a member of the MS-13 gang. That is a claim his lawyers deny. Meanwhile, Trump also said he will deport as many, quote, dangerous undocumented immigrants as possible to El Salvador. At the White House, I'm Karen Kafa.
Coming up, social media is more popular than ever, but it can have serious safety risks, especially for teens. What experts say you can do to keep your kids safe online.
Rain is in the forecast tonight. Stay tuned to see what it means for your early morning.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow from the Maryland Zoo. The treasures are surprising.
It's always been a conversation piece.
It is a little gem, honestly.
But the reactions are priceless.
Oh my goodness. I'm speechless.
Wow, that's fantastic. That is fantastic.
Watch Antiques Roadshow next time from the Maryland Zoo in Baltimore.
Tonight at 8 on WOUB.
What?
On Finding Your Roots, Jim Acosta.
Your preconceived notions of where you came from, who you are, doesn't mean squat.
And Van Jones.
I knew that my dad's side of the family had a rougher path.
Finding a founding family in Cuba.
I wonder if they even know.
I'm sure they don't know.
And a DNA match.
You would never guess in a million years. That's nuts!
Finding Your Roots.
Tuesday at 8 on WOUB.
WOUB is recognizing members of our Cornerstone Society. The Cornerstone Society is a group that wants to ensure the future of public media in our region. It includes people across our area who value news, entertainment, and cultural programming, as well as the educational services WOUB provides. Also included are graduates of Ohio University who took part in the WOUB Student Professional Development Program. Thanks to the Cornerstone Society for their generous support. To learn how you can be involved, email woub@woub.org.
In some ways, Portsmouth was one of the last small cities to field a team and get a franchise. What was kind of extraordinary about Portsmouth was it was able to field an incredible team. For a brief moment in the sun, a little sweet spot that almost was sweet enough to get them a national championship, but they put together the team that ultimately did win the championship in 1935 in Detroit.
Good evening and happy Monday. Today we are seeing some severe weather in our area. The National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm watch for most of southeastern Ohio, and with our main concern being hail, straight line winds, and the chance of an isolated tornado. Now if we take a look at our radar, we can see a bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings that are starting to pop up just to our south. One of the main storms we are keeping an eye on is this storm down by just south of Portsmouth. It is showing significant rotation right now, and because of that, we are keeping a close eye on it. So it is tracking just south of here, down maybe by Charleston, and these cells are all just moving southwest of here. But we are keeping an eye on these cells over south of Chillicothe that will be moving into our area over the upcoming hours. And those cells will be bringing some heavier rain and even the chance of straight line winds up to 60 to 70 miles per hour and the chance of hail as the night will continue. Taking a look at around the region, we can see that this is because of this low pressure system that has just started to form to our north, and this warm sector that has moved in allowed our daytime warming process, and it's going to get wiped off by this cold front that is coming through, which is allowing the chance for this severe weather to really start to occur as the overnight hours start to come. Now, if we take a look at our satellite, we can see this clouds start to develop, and they're starting to intensify and grow as the day has continued. And because of this, we are seeing a lot more severe weather and the chance for tornadoes just to our south. Currently in Athens, it is 64 degrees, and we're seeing a light rain, and we can expect that rain to turn a little heavier into tonight as a 40% chance of showers with an overnight low of 46. Tomorrow, 55 will be our high with that chance of rain sticking around and that low of 37. Taking a look at our surface analysis, we can see that low pressure system start to move its way off to the east coast as that cold front moves through. Now, because of that low pressure system is continuing to move through, allowing the chance of rain to stick around through most of tomorrow. And we're going to see this high pressure system move its way up by Wednesday, clearing out most of that rain. Taking a look at our 7-day outlook, Tuesday, 55 high with a 40% chance of showers. Wednesday, 57 will be your high with mostly sunny skies. And then heading into Thursday, we'll see a high of 64 with partly sunny skies, but we are going to see the chance of severe weather start to return back into Friday with a 20% chance of thunderstorms possible with a high of 77 and a low of 59. Heading into Saturday, we are going to see that rain stick around with a 60% chance of showers, high of 73 and a low of 46. Heading into Sunday, that rain is still sticking around as that low pressure will stick around with a high of 71, low of 46. That's going to be much of the same heading into Monday with a high of 67 and a 50% chance of showers.
Calvin, when I look at this forecast, it's the definition of crazy. All right, so we have plenty of rain, but it's also going to be really hot. So it's like a spring humid mess.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. So Josh, what are you going to be wearing tomorrow?
Morgan, whenever I wake up tomorrow and look at just to see, just in case, because if it's raining, I have to be in pants. What about you?
Right. Well, you get the raincoat, but then you get too hot. Yeah. Then you have the umbrella, but then you have to throw it away. It's just a mess. Calvin, thank you. We appreciate it. With the warmer weather incoming, lanternflies have officially made their return. As of last week, the flies' eggs have been found in 17 states, including Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. Officials in these 17 states advise residents to look forward to destroying lantern eggs before they hatch. The invasive pests feast on a wide range of plants and pose a danger to crops. Scraping and smashing them is easy and require no tools. The egg masses can be found on a variety of surfaces, including trees, rocks, vehicles, equipment, and lawn furniture.
Scrolling through social media has become the norm for many children and teens. And while these apps can allow them to stay connected to their friends,
they can also cause harm if used too frequently. And today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more on how to know if your child is ready for social media and what parents can do to keep them safe.
Social media has become a significant part of life for many. 77% of high schoolers reported frequent daily social media use in a 2023 national survey by the CDC. But experts say using these apps too much can be harmful to children and teens.
It can affect their mental health, but it can also affect their safety.
Tracy Hurley is with the Child Protection Team at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. She says most experts recommend waiting until a child is in 8th grade before allowing social media. But since everyone develops differently, she says to answer the following questions.
Are they mature enough? Are they responsible with their belongings? Can they take care of the other belongings that they have in the home? And can they follow the other types of rules that you already have set in place at home or at school?
Hurley says if the answer is no to any of these, you may want to wait. She says it's also important for the parent to be ready for a child to have social media. Once your child has these apps, she says parents play a big role in safety. Monitor your child's interactions online. There are apps that can help you do that. Keep communication open about their online experiences. Set clear rules and limits for social media use. And finally, be prepared for difficult conversations around things they've seen or done online.
There's wonderful resources out there that can have questions that you might not think of to ask kids specifically about their internet usage and what they do online.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Next in sports, Ohio drops the weekend series to VMI. Find out more and hear from head coach Craig Moore after the break.
On Call the Midwife.
Greetings, sister. I think you were expecting me.
I'm 46. I've got 7 kids, and I think I'm in the family way again.
Is this the life that you imagined? Is the life I was called to? People feel sorry enough for me already. I feel so alone. Oh, I feel dizzy. Perhaps we should give this a break. Look at me. We'll get you through this, and that's a promise.
Sunday at 8 on WOUB.
On Masterpiece, Jane Austen was my sister.
He was saddled with me forever. Perhaps there is a biography to be written.
Everything one needs to know is found within the pages of her novels.
Did she ever know love?
There's sure to be letters that will cast up all manner of treasure. Wherever would you think that? Miss Austen on Masterpiece.
Asking tough questions to those in power.
Russia right now has you outmanned, outgunned. Is it time to think about a settlement?
As a newcomer to Congress, what did you make of the high degree of dysfunction within the Republican conference?
I always felt that it was broken.
And covering events as they unfold.
Opposition fighters have reached the suburbs of the capital, Damascus.
Everything I know, I learned from comic books.
Comic books inspired cartoonist Art Spiegelman to draw.
I was just another baby boom boy. I grew up in Queens. I loved comics. My parents survived Auschwitz. I made a comic book about it, the one with Jewish mice and Nazi cats.
And that's his Pulitzer Prize-winning Mouse.
Why comics? Why mice? Why the Holocaust? Yikes.
Look for Art Spiegelman,
one of the most important cartoonists in the world.
Disaster is my muse.
See you in the funny papers.
On American Masters.
Tuesday at 10 on WOUB.
I'm Evan Johnson with sports, and over the weekend, Ohio baseball hosted Virginia Military Institute for a 3-game set. The Bobcats won the first game, but still lost the series. Coming into the weekend, VMI led the entire country in runs scored, but on Friday, Ohio limited the Cadets to just 5. Ohio starting pitcher Blake Gasky had one of his best starts on Friday. He went 6 innings and only allowed 3 runs while striking out 4 batters. The offense had 13 hits, which helped the Bobcats to an 8-5 victory. But on Saturday, the VMI bats heated up. Ohio had another strong start from pitcher Hudson Bonkel, but the bullpen struggled yet again, letting up 8 runs in the final 3 innings to lose 13-6. In the rubber match on Sunday, Ohio limited the Cadets' offense yet again, but the Bobcats' bats failed to produce, only scoring 3 runs. Ohio shut out VMI in the final 3 innings, but still lost the game 4-3. The Bobcats have not won a series since March 2nd. Head coach Craig Moore says he needs his team to have more confidence in high-leverage situations.
We talked about after the game is we need guys that have a little bit more confidence, conviction in those game situations, high-leverage situations where they want the bat in their hands and or they want the ball in their hand to execute a pitch to get us out of a jam.
Ohio softball was swept by Toledo on Saturday. It was the first time the Bobcats have lost a series all season. Ohio dropped to 3rd in the MAC. They now trail Miami and Central Michigan. In the first game on Saturday, both teams struggled to produce runs. After 7 innings, the game was knotted up at 1. That is when Toledo opened the game up. The Rockets would go on to hit 4 home runs in the top of the 8th to take a 7-run lead. The Bobcats were not able to make a comeback. Even after a 3-run home run by Matty Wilcox, Ohio lost 5-8. The second game of the doubleheader also saw slow offenses. Ohio had 4 errors, which Toledo took advantage of. Rockets pitcher Sophia Knight threw a complete game shutout. It was the first time all season Ohio has been shut out. A couple of Bobcats did reach career milestones over the weekend. Skip Miller reached 350 career strikeouts, and Emma Hoffner knocked in her 100th RBI. But Ohio head coach Jenna Hall says her team can't dwell on these losses.
It's been a while since we've been through this experience this season especially, and so how do we now learn from this? How do we come together as a team? We lean in more, we don't back away, and we just have to go back to work. And that's the thing about our game. We play so many games that you don't have the time to sit on this. Like, right, you have to learn, figure it out, and then not dwell on it so we can get ready for BG on Tuesday.
Ohio women's track and field was back in action this weekend as they participated in the We Fly Challenge at Ball State. The meet was highlighted by several first-place finishes. On Friday, Ohio won 2 field events. Freshman Laura Motter got first in discus, while freshman Ashley Cornathon was the top finisher in the hammer throw. Then on Saturday, freshman Jacelyn Garvey took home first place in the 800-meter. She was one of 3 Bobcats to finish in the top 5. Sophomore Jada Irwin got her personal best times in the 200 and 400-meter. Ohio will travel all the way to California for the Brian Clay Invitational on Wednesday. To keep up with all the spring action, visit woub.org/sports. Back to you, Josh.
Thanks, Evan. Still ahead, the first all-female space flight in decades touched down today. What the star-studded crew had to say about their time in the sky.
Oh my God, this is like paradise.
We as humans can learn a lot from this.
We're in a whole new era of science. I get goosebumps just thinking about it.
Finding food and water is getting harder by the day.
You can feel the presence of everything that is needed to keep us alive.
Maintaining fully functioning ecosystems, that is what's going to save us.
Wednesday on WOUB.
Understanding the past gives a sense of the future.
This is the first time that anyone has seen this in 2,000 years.
This is amazing.
Well, I'm excited now.
Pompeii is a battle against time.
You think I'm joking, but look at this. It did really happen.
Don't let anybody tell you who you are.
History teaches us to honor the past.
When you look back, you're like, wow, that was pretty special.
This is something that's actually altering the course of history.
You're charged with keeping these stories alive.
Next time on the Vietnam War.
We were acting as bait. You know, go walk in the woods and draw fire.
U.S. troops feel the strain of a different kind of war.
We keep getting more and more operations thrown at us. I may take a 15-day leave to Tokyo to keep from cracking up.
As the anti-war movement gains momentum back home.
That was the biggest crowd any of us had ever been in.
When the Vietnam War continues.
Thursday at 9 on WOUB.
Blue Origin's all-female mission aboard a New Shepard rocket on Monday was historic and successful. On board was Jeff Bezos' fiancée Lauren Sanchez, pop star Katy Perry, journalist Gail King, film producer Carrie Ann Flynn, former NASA scientist Aisha Bowe, and scientist Amanda Wynn. The crew went on a fully autonomous 10-minute journey above the internationally recognized boundary of space. They experienced weightlessness and witnessed his view of Earth through windows.
Just hope that these types of experiences clear a path for everyone to be able to do that.
Out of the 700-some people to go to space, only about 15% have been women. The ladies on the flight said it's a milestone for themselves and women everywhere.
Yeah, we are going to see this severe threat really just kind of stick around through 11 p.m. tonight. Along that, we're going to be seeing a lot of rain showers tonight, and that severe thunderstorms, we're going to see some hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and then the chance of an isolated tornado or two. If we take a look at our 7-day outlook, we're going to see a nice drop for Tuesday and Wednesday, and then a nice warm-up for the rest of the week with the chance of rain returning by Friday into early next week.
Thanks, Calvin. That does it for our broadcast this evening. For all of us here at Newswatch, I'm Morgan Anderson.
And I'm Joshua Herner. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. Have a great night.
We're on the precipice of a great discovery.